Okay,
Okay, good morning, everyone. We're gonna start by calling the meeting to order and any declaration of pecuniary interests.
None known.
None known.
None known.
Okay. Any delegations today? None. Circulation of the prior minutes to the meeting. Any questions?
None.
We have a motion to pass the minutes of the last meeting.
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, business arising from minutes.
I didn't have anything.
Okay, and then council issued correspondence, none?
There is, in the new business.
Yeah, that's in the new business.
Yeah,
So let's go on to new business. Ontario OPP Police Board Services report for May and June 2024.
Maybe what did the
You're
July
on.
and August?
Oh, July and August, sorry. I'm just reading off of this new business.
That's what my.
I apologize for this rookie chairman mistake.
We'll go over the July and August police service board report. I forwarded a copy to you at Mr. Burns earlier, and you should all have a copy of it. So just going page by page, I'll start with motor vehicle collisions. So in July, we had 4 property damage motor vehicle collisions. I guess I can start off with a more positive. We had no personal injury accidents either in July or August. The 4 motor vehicle collisions that happened in July were all minor in nature, and most vehicles just drove away. There was not even need for tow trucks and those things. And then we had 1 again in August, again, only property damage. Moving on to the next section I did was the criminal charges. There was 1 criminal charge laid in July and 1 in August. Provincial charges, 6 and 6 for each month. And then moving on to violent crimes, we had 1 violent crime reported. It was assault in July, and that one was the criminal charge that was made in July. We had 2 assaults reported in August, and the 1 criminal charge that was laid was as a result of that investigation. Property crimes, in July, we had 3 theft under $5,000 occurrences reported, and 1 theft over $5,000 reported. And we had 1 mischief occurrence reported. And then it also, so then in August, we had 1 theft under 5,000 occurrence reported. As for drug crime, there was no reports in July or August.
So that's amazing. Like you do,
Yeah, 0.
it's 1.5.
Especially during the summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Patrol hours, like we talked about in the last one, there is new bicycles in the area. Again, in Rugby County, there's 24.75 hours of bike patrol and 43.5 hours of foot patrol in July. In August, 4.5 hours of bicycle patrol and 40 hours of foot patrol. The next one here is false alarms. There was 2 reported in July and 2 reported in August. And it outlines which businesses they were from. You guys have that information.
That's down too.
It is. So I don't know if that's just,
Last year, it seemed like we had dozens.
Yeah.
It all came from.
Yeah.
Unique.
and then if you look through the back of the report, there's lots of pictures and different things from our media officer and our community service officer. And there were a lot of events that they participated with. I know they're here for the Canada today.
Yes.
I believe they're here at the car show doing foot patrols as well.
just,
I came through and I saw a bunch of them there. And we got one here of Sergeant Julie McLeod playing basketball under the bridge.
Yeah.
One of the students. There's a lemonade stand that our cadet and our special constable stopped by here in town and helped out one of the kids. I know there's one here for the Tesla truck. We had that next whatever as well, but I think that'll be in the next reporting period, but I know we had officers here for that as well. And the last one here I have is that the community service officer and the auxiliaries took part in the Mackinac activities when we had all the people up for the pancake breakfast.
So you brought in the command unit for that breakfast? Is that what's in the background of the picture? Or? Or is that an old picture?
Actually, this was the other breakfast, Greg.
Oh, right, okay, yes.
This is the one.
Two breakfasts.
Yeah, the
further
one
down,
by the casino.
And where they
yes.
had the first responders
no,
there and
yeah.
our fire truck was there.
Yeah, makes sense.
Is that where this
Yeah.
picture's from?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't at that event.
I was there, so.
Good.
Our fire truck was just parked over here,
Yeah.
just past them.
And I'm open for any questions in regards to those.
Any questions?
Just regarding the bike patrol, you said we received new bikes
That's
and,
right.
and are you finding it's increasing the number of hours? Is there like, more availability of equipment?
So yes, and the reason is because the bikes we had before, which were great, were becoming outdated and the officers weren't fitting onto them. So when the new bikes came in, it was obviously like getting a new car, right? Like,
Yes.
I wanna go out.
Yeah,
So a lot of the officers that you'll see out there were
Yeah.
very excited when we got those, and we got those through funding for the whole county for just other community safety. So they did increase it because of the bikes.
good, it's good to hear.
And the bikes can get into low places, like they were on the trails and down along the waterfront and that, but,
You can't get to it. You
Can't
can
get
see it
to
in our
it.
cars, but you can't
Yeah,
get there, right?
yeah,
You
it's
get
not the
something
same.
quickly and-
and they were stopping to talk to people.
What's the difference with the electric? Public electric bikes. Bikes that you find more problems with them?
There's two styles. You'll see the ones that look like a mountain bike and they just have some assist to them. I'm not seeing any issues with those. The ones that kind of look like mini dirt bikes, but they're an e-bike, we are having some issues where people start following the rules, like not stopping at stop signs and in and out of traffic differently, but they're not a big issue yet in the county or even Durham Point Edward. I don't see them on I personally cycle on these trails all the time and I don't see them ripping up and down. Most of the people driving the ones that look like mountain bikes, those like $6,000 or $7,000 bikes, and it's mostly responsible people out doing exercising and they're going along the waterfront. They treat it just like I do on my normal bike. They're slowing down, they're going through traffic easily. Then when they get to an open spot, they'll speed up. I haven't seen any issue.
Where I've seen a challenge with them, not the mountain bikes so much as the other speedster bikes we'll call them, is at night. So they like to get out at dusk. And they challenge the rules, let's put it that way. Is there anything, and
So,
like they'll go up and down the trail and they'll go up and down Victoria
right,
and they're challenging the rules, let's put it that way, because they have no lights, they have no reflective gear. They have no signals. And so,
so a bike is classified as a vehicle under the Highway Traffic Act, and a bike shall have certain things. They shall have lights, the front, rear, 1.5 hour before sunset, and 1.5 hour sunrise, just like with your car, you have to have them on those areas, bike shall have those. Right, and I know a lot of officers, especially in here, like they see people without lights in their bikes, they're stopping. Check and see why they don't have them, and then figure out why they're in the area. In regards to signals, you don't really see many people do it, but I'm a bicycle instructor for BOVP, and you should be making your own signals, right? It should be happening. And they do have follow the same rules of the road as a car when they're on the road. Stop signs, signals. You have to stay slower moving vehicles have to stay closest to the right as possible. And I know a lot of the bikes aren't doing that. So it is enforceable through the Highway Traffic Act to deal with those incidents, right? And e-bikes are supposed to have helmets on as well. It doesn't matter what your age is.
I wonder if there's some sort of information pamphlet the OPP has that we can share through social media to just as kind of a reminder of the
Yeah.
rules of the road. Yeah,
Absolutely. I do have one and I can forward.
that'd be great. I mean,
I
it
agree.
certainly can't hurt.
and that's why I brought up the question,
Yeah.
because as it's getting darker earlier, I'm noticing it,
Mhm.
and it's, I says, okay, I gotta make note of that question.
And as a driver, you do come up across them a lot and it's, if they're not lit, it's the last second that you see them. Right?
Mhm.
So it's-
Well, I haven't had that misfortune come up to them a lot of time.
Yeah.
I'm mostly walking and
Yeah.
just stuffing around the house.
Mhm. For sure.
And that's why I've seen them, but I haven't seen them from a driver's perspective in a car. Okay. Any other questions?
Just generally, no. I had a resident talk to me the other night, but it wasn't in a complaining mode, but it just made me think. she talked about, she got, ran into a gentleman was all bloody and stuff down by the river. He thought he was a homeless person and he followed her. So she ran past our environmental services, and then she went to the police station and called the number that's on the phone and called it twice and no one answered.
You called the 1-888 number or inside the building?
She said the number that's on the phone at the side of the building. And I don't know what the number I think it goes to Troy, does it not?
Well, they're right on the side of the building. There's actually a phone that you can pick up that puts you.
That's the one, that's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
it
about.
puts you right in direct communication with our.
It does it automatically, right? You don't have to
You
dial.
you don't have to dial.
No, you just pick it up.
Okay, then
No, you just pick it up and it automatically goes through.
she must have, I don't know what she's talking about then. She said she dialed the number twice and nobody answered.
Yeah, if she's calling directly into the office.
Yeah.
Via the concern or the
Yeah.
number exchange, maybe Renee wasn't in there, maybe someone didn't
Well,
answer there. But
she's-
if you're outside and it's the emergent one, you pick
Yeah.
it up, it goes right to our
Okay,
communication center.
then
I can look in to see,
It's
I
okay.
haven't heard any
It's-
issues with it, but
she wasn't complaining. It just made me think about, like, I didn't realize that phone connected immediately.
it does.
So I wondered why no one answered the phone, but I told her, said knocking on the door doesn't mean anything because they don't come to the door. You use the phone.
Right.
She said there's people inside and I said, we don't.
Was she calling from her cell phone maybe and dialed,
She told me,
and dialed wrong?
she made me think it was the phone at the police
Yeah, But
station.
it couldn't have been.
So anyway, she got home and everything, but it just scared her.
Yeah.
And that question scared you because no one answered. the
Well, I
phone.
thought, well, that's kind of odd,
Yeah.
but now something's gone wrong. I can ask her again.
And if it's just a one-off with her, if
Yeah.
she is fearful,
Yeah.
911 works every time. Right? She
Yeah.
doesn't have to- Like, that's like, if she's running away from someone because she's concerned.
Yeah,
That's the evidence, that's the advice I give to everybody, 911.
Yeah.
And that'll put you right directly to.
We may want to test that phone too.
Yeah,
right?
I was
Just-
thinking
Yeah.
about that as well. When I'm finished here, I can go back and I'll just,
because
Yeah, just do a
this
quick call,
happened in the last week.
Yeah.
But I can,
they put new ones on all the buildings.
Yes, I read
Oh.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they should be fine.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
will double check
do a
on
double
that.
check.
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate that.
I have a
I-
question, if it's okay.
Please.
I just want to talk about the trucks that are blocking the local lane. So the last bit, the trucks have been backed up a lot out to airport. And I came in a couple weeks ago and couldn't even get off at Modeland. They had the Modeland ramp blocked. And I just want to make sure that things are being patrolled on the highway. There were a couple of police officers out on the highway, but they were out by the airport. I did call Star OPP and they said they were going to look at it, but there was no way to get off on the Modeland Road. You couldn't exit at Modeland because they had the whole ramp blocked. So, well, it's bad. And then I did read about an officer whose vehicle got hit by someone recently. It's a problem, that highway. And I just want to make sure that somehow we get the trucks to stop blocking the on-ramp and the off-ramp.
So I can address both things. There was an officer struck 2 days ago. He was outside of his cruiser, wasn't injured. The vehicle was damaged in that. And that was actually going the opposite direction on the eastbound lanes in the construction zone.
Okay.
As it goes towards the enforcing the trucks blocking the lanes, when the backups do happen, we do have officers out there patrolling to assist with it. We also are working hand in hand with the MTO and the Blue Water Bridge Authority in regards to getting the queues done quicker. Unfortunately, when the trucks do back up into both lanes because of the construction over top of the Howard Watson Nature Trail, there's 2 lanes that are blocked completely, and that blocks all lanes.
Mhm.
And because of the volume, there is actually not much that you can do. It's just down to a standstill. Like if you're in London on the 401 during construction or in the GTA, it just comes to a stop. And I know it says you can't get off Molden Road. What we're doing is we're putting out social media blasts to say, hey, look, you can't get to that one, so get off earlier. And it actually has happened to be coming home from work as well. I get stuck not being able to get off at Molden Road. But when both lanes are stopped, and that's not just commercial motor vehicle, it's also cars. Unfortunately, it's just the way the queue is. It's not, we can't move it farther. They're not just blocking one lane, they're blocking all because they're waiting to queue across the bridge.
It would just be nice if they didn't block the ramps, and it would also be nice if the road sign on the road said get off at airport. Because we have that road sign that you can change the words to before Sarnia. So it would be nice if it read, trucks backed up to airport, get off or something. Just
Yeah.
again, just so that there's not an issue with people peeking their nose through to try and get off the ramp.
Right.
And that's what I just started exiting at airport
Me too.
regardless of time of day.
My
Yeah.
dominant road now.
Yeah, I just get
Yeah.
off at Mandometer Airport and
Yeah.
think, yeah, I'll get home 3 minutes later, but
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with all that stuff. And so, and until the bridge is reopened and the construction's done, it's just, I just exit early.
Mostly over the overpass at the trail. That's where the congestion starts.
that
That's
just
where the
added to
bottleneck
it,
goes.
yeah.
Just like
Isn't that-
Doug said, there's two lanes fully blocked and you're knocked down to one lane. So once the 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock rush hour comes for trucks, when there's a change of shift on the bridge, we see that congestion almost 4 times a week where it's blocked up almost to the airport.
And as soon as it's past the 40 highway exit and both lanes are blocked, they're
Yeah.
not blocked, they're not blocking like we have issues up further where they're blocking people from coming in. It's the whole highways to a standstill.
As you said, it goes to a standstill.
On that note, though, the bridge is on schedule to reopen on the 26th. That's what he told us last week.
They're getting a lot of cooperation from the American side when they have these backups. The general manager, he immediately called Port Huron and they put on extra boots to clear up that 45-minute hour delay.
But the trucks know they're not supposed to block the off or the on ramp, and they're not just stopping, like they're coming up slowly because they're already back at the airport. I'm just, again, if those trucks can be written a ticket, then maybe they won't stop in front of the off ramp and the on ramp anymore.
I hear that frustration and I'll look into it.
More questions on this topic? More
Thank you.
comments? Thanks, Sean. I just want to make sure that we, on the new business number 3, that we just enter it so people know that the OPP have a copy of the open burn bylaw, because we're going into fall and we're going to see more open burn in the backyards. So the OPP do have a copy. If they're dispatched to call, we'll administer it accordingly.
I did meet up with the fire chief and he's actually given me a copy of it, which I put into the plan attachment, so they do have a copy available.
I just want to make sure that who's ever watching, plus it's entered into the minutes that has been done and successfully completed.
Yeah, follow-up question on that. So it's been put in the detachment, but has there been any kind of awareness to the officers about the changes we've made to the bylaw, or like what needs to be enforced, or?
So I just put a copy of the bylaw in each one of their diary spots, so they have a
Okay.
copy of it, so if they need to enforce it, if there's a call for service, then
Right. They have it in their duty bags or whatever. So, okay, thanks.
Anything else on that topic? Charlotte, anything? Okay,
So I have a question under new business, if I can. Are we
Sure.
new
We
business?
skipped over one.
we put in skip over, I apologize.
Speed spy.
Stuff.
Let's go over it. And the financials.
So the speed spy, we've got one on Front Street and one on Michigan. And this is just all the data that has been gathered over the past few months. We thought we'd share it with you guys. You got a printed copy of it. We can send it to you electronically. It's, I mean, however you wanna, whatever way you feel is best to have it.
If you can send it electronically, then I can have it saved.
Okay.
So I can compare, but
Sure.
I did review it.
Okay. And then our operations manager did a bit of an analysis of how he feels the patterns are being affected, and he thinks that they're helping quite a bit. And he said as we've moved into the summer months, the traffic has actually slowed down, and I think just because of the volume. So that his report is in there as well, that you can see what his analysis is, and sure you know how to read the stuff too. And but so
Is there any other areas that have come up as concerns for, I know with St. Clair, both we're not getting the reports of people speaking on that road?
So Venetian Boulevard is one that we're gonna do some work on. But yeah, I would say that we have not had much complaint about speed at all this summer. I think a lot of, like you say, St. Clair, Louisa traffic is down. You know, it's just not as busy. So, and we're looking at, with the construction on St. Clair, the work on the Louisa Helena intersection may get done this fall. So that's, you know, to make it kind of a true right angle turn, so you won't be able to maintain speed. So that should help a lot. We're also gonna get it painted this fall, get traffic lines and a parking lane on Louisa Street, so that should make the street seem narrower and hopefully slow down. We're actually gonna have a report coming to council on Tuesday night about what, you know, what we want to do with the stop sign. Because we had a active transportation study done last year, and it talked about a couple of options for Louisa Street. So now we have to decide what we want to do there, possibly change put a stop sign in at Charles on Louisa to, you know, kind of slow down Louisa Street. What are the concerns that may cause issues in other places? So the operations manager is putting together a report to go to council on Tuesday night to figure out exactly what we want to do there before we start the painting.
So question, what is the status of the speed sign for Venetian? It's been several months.
Yeah, we haven't ordered it yet.
Why is that?
Just there's not really a reason for it. We actually talked about it. It kind of had got forgotten, and we talked about it. Mike and I talked about it the other day, and we weren't sure. We're going to look back in the minutes to see what the actual decision was. We recall the discussion, but couldn't recall what the decision was. So that's Mike was going to look into that and follow up on it.
Because the decision was to purchase one, and it was to help with the St. Clair being closed and the additional traffic on Venetian, as I recall.
So that should possibly alleviate everything on St. Clair, or lower it when St. Clair goes back to normal.
Right, yeah. The Paradigm study said that Venetian is one of our busiest roads with the highest speeds, and that's why,
Well, other tourists.
why we pushed initially to put one there, and then so we decided to buy a third one to put on there to track the speed there. So
I think the thing that I find the most interesting about these reports is how the people who can see the numbers have much better control, and going the other way, the speeds are higher. So I find it interesting because I don't think people realize that it's taking the speed both ways.
Yeah.
Right. So I find it interesting that on the report, both coming into town is slower, but going out of town is higher. And I'm sure it's just because people can see the speed sign. That's neat.
yeah,
Well, I think just on that topic, we moved the speed sign to Front Street initially because of the construction, or instead of putting it on Venetian because we needed it with the different flow of traffic for the construction. There's a lot of cars on Front Street that would normally have been on St. Clair. But maybe it doesn't have to be on Front Street after it reopens. I don't know, or we just get the other one, but again, it was the non-budget.
Just moved, like you said, we wanted Front Street back.
Well, I don't know. Front Street's always been kind of like a corridor. I don't know.
well, council approved the third one, so it should be moving forward,
It's a non-budgeted item as well.
right? Yeah, we agreed to move it forward.
Okay,
And one other thing under new business, what's the status of our fifth member of this board?
We'll be advertising, like I'll be sending out an advertisement within the next month or so. It'll be on the next regular council meeting agenda, and be advertising for all boards and committees at that time.
Oh, okay,
Because they all change over in January.
right.
And typically it's a 2-year term, and this term comes up to an end at the end of this year. So
just want to touch one base on the financial statements. Any questions regarding the financial statement?
No,
Here. Any other new business? John, any new business?
Oh, thank you.
and I'm glad to see you back with us
thank you.
after your accident. And long recovery, so it's great that you're able to be with us again, and
I'm glad to be back.
yeah, I'm sure you are.
The next meeting date's proposed November 28th, 2024, 9 AM. Any questions? November 28th. Okay. Call for adjournment.
So moved.
Seconded.